Hello, everybody. My name is the Lonatron, and welcome back to FACTORIOTRON, where I was doing something. It's been a moment since I've updated that one, or since I've edited that one or updated anything. But if I remember correctly, what I was trying to do was load these up into here to make gears, and then I was trying to get the copper. Right, I was trying to get the copper running at peak efficiency to ensure that I could continue to do exactly what it is that I'm doing. So we're gonna get started on that. I forgot how to play Factorio for a second. You're gonna have to forgive me. It's again been just a moment. Oh, that was a little silly of me. I need more plates. Absolutely desperately I need more plates. There we go. That's the system, right? No, that's not quite the system. I need to power this, which is gonna send coal down this way. Coal's gonna be put into this machine, and then to speed up the number of to speed up the process a little, I need more electric inserters. So we're gonna just make as many of those as we can. We're not having another 1,000 conveyor belts moment. To the best of my ability, I can't promise I won't have another 1,000 conveyor belts moment because I might. But what we can successfully avoid is another 2 million science points or whatever they're called. The things, the things. So we're going to set that up like so, and then we are going to run it like this. Now, I did think of a more efficient way to do this. You're not going to believe it when I say this, but it came to me in a dream. However, I don't want to redo everything. So I'm just not going to. And now, since it's backing up even slightly, that tells me that I can divert some copper plates around and have them intersect with a handful of assemblers. And wait, what was it for the science packs? The science packs. What? How did they? Copper plates and gear wheels. So we have the gear wheels being made here, and now we need a way to get gear wheels into these assembling machines, and we're gonna space them a little awkwardly. I do have a reason for this. So there should be about 3 spaces between these. And what we need to do, that's 2. Let's turn on the grid. The grid is the important part. What we're going to do is we're going to put 3 spaces between them so that we can run copper down this way. And the gears are going to be run up from here. Which, sure. Yeah, sure. So, gears get run up this way. And they'll intersect in this middle area. I swear I know what I'm doing. We're going to run it into this, which we are going to run through a splitter. Do I have splitters? I do, in fact, have splitters. I'm gonna put a splitter here, and we're gonna run it that way. So this needs to go that way, and then this needs to go this way. There we go. And we are going to remove this right here. We're gonna set this up so that it all connects like so. And then I don't know why it did that. I guess it just did. Oh, actually, I'm looking at this now, and I'm realizing that I'm gonna want to leave some space. Because I want to be able to put these science packs directly into the laboratory, or at least a laboratory. It doesn't need to be like the one I already have, but just a laboratory. We're going to run this way. We're going to get rid of this tree. We're going to connect them here. And we're going to run this one over here. I love messing with conveyor belts. It's what I spend all my time doing in Factorio. Now, getting the copper plates. Okay, so the copper plates are definitely in a problematic spot as it would stand. But if we bring this up, right, then I forgot that I couldn't rotate my camera. New tip, fast replace belt and underground belt. Oh! I didn't realize I could do that. I mean, I did just encounter it, but I registered it. I didn't, like, process that was what was happening. So we're going to keep running this way. We're going to get rid of this tree, and we're going to do that. So now, when these get done, we can run an interesting process here. So what we're going to do is this, and we're gonna run it this way. So we need the curve, and then we can I don't need it to curve. It doesn't need to curve. I'm a silly Billy. And then we do this, and we also do this. Yeah, this is definitely well optimized. Then these are going to run out past here like so. And then, after we've made that mess, we can come pick up this lab and put it here at the end of all the outputs. So, we're not done yet, though. Transfer between labs. Oh! Isn't that handy dandy? Entity inserter can transfer science packs between labs. Well, that's good to know, and it's going to be very, very important. Let's start hooking up the electrical for all of this. Or, actually, not the electrical. First, we need to get the inserters done. So, inserter there, inserter there, inserter there, inserter there, there. Put the outputs up here. And this is going to create our, this is going to be the basis of our whole system. And before we go ahead and power it, we're going to come through, we're going to calibrate all of these to make we're going to make it the science packs. And eventually we're going to need to set it to the green science packs, but we don't need to do that yet. And I want to get the copper running before anything else. Running the copper. So with the copper moving down that way, if I plug this in here, and I'm going to just, I don't know, throw them around willy-nilly. Who needs to know exactly what they're doing when you can guess? This will go here, and this will go here. And with that, everything should function. Right? Maybe? I say that a lot. I say right and maybe a lot. Why are you not doing anything? It's because I forgot to hook up this part. The important bit. That might have something to do with it. I forgot to actually give it a feed for iron gears. There we go. And then this. Wait, can I get them to... Alright, it doesn't look like I can get them to do that. I have a couple of questions, but before I go trying to answer those, I will be right back. And we are back. I could have sworn I hit that pause button. Now it's a matter of figuring this part out. This part's a little, I don't know, I think I'd call it questionable. Questionable is the best word for this. Let's get rid of that for now. Let's see what I can do about this. So I have a very small space to work with here. Because I remember a kind fellow in my comments informed me conveyor belts will just spit out onto objects. What I can do is I can set up the belts like this. And there's another way that I can make this work as well. If I do belts like this. And that will fully optimize this. So that it always has a method to spit out onto the belts. That's how it works. I got it. And then if we give it this third space here, what I can do is set up a transport belt going one of the directions. And it's a little trippy to look at, but if it works, it works. Now, why are you suffering? Where are you falling short? So this is fine. Why aren't you feeding these? You have coal input. You have output spots. Where's it choking? There is theoretically nowhere this should be choking. How peculiar. Why are you struggling like this? Why aren't you moving? Did I delete something load-bearing? Is there not enough electricity? Do I need more steam engines? Let's start with more steam engines, and I'll try to dissect it from there, because it's working fine over in the copper department. Copper's working fine. And we can actually produce even more copper plates now that we have the necessary components. What did I do that went wrong here? Let's see. I do think it would be good to get a stable grid for power so that all this is a little bit more organized, but what went wrong and where? And of course, this I need to I need to add more furnaces to. But what's going wrong here? Let's follow the line. Okay. I see the holdup. I see where the holdup is. There's coal on the lines, which was super obvious now that I'm, like, looking at... Wait, it's spitting out coal now. That's just mining coal. It probably expended the iron from the spot it was on, and then started spitting out coal. But I see what the problem is. It's because the iron got interrupted. And it now wants to run coal. I get it. That that kind of confuses me a little bit, actually. Why is it trying to run coal? I'm not going to worry about it. What I am going to do is deconstruct this mess. Oh, lamp's finished. What's next on the docket? Start researching the repair pack. How do I make drones? Let's stop. The easiest way to clear all this up and make everything easier would be drones. So if I mean, obviously I want trains, but I want drones. Where's drones? Steel axe, increase your... Okay. It's not what I'm worried about right now. The fast inserter would be really nice, but I'm just gonna enqueue that, and then we're gonna stop for a second. I don't know what drones look like in this game. I am entirely unfamiliar with drones. There's a story I want to tell while we look for drones here. You see, whenever the weather gets the way it currently is, which I'm under winter storm warning right now, whenever the weather gets the way it currently is, I am reminded of a time that I started to slide in a car. It was my first time actually sliding in a car. And I was driving. I was driving with someone else in the car who was exceptionally drunk, by the way. And I felt the car start to wobble. And I come from a place with no snow and very little ice. So I start to panic a little, but then I remembered good old Grandpappy Tron. Good old Grandpappy Tron, who was a moonshiner. He ran moonshine in Virginia. Right? He was nothing to scoff at. And he was a driver for sure. I mean, you gotta be. And I remembered a second thing. The second thing I remembered was the movie Cars. Pixar's Cars. Good movie. But there's one thing that stood out to me from that. If you start turning right, you'll pretty soon find yourself going left. So as I'm hitting a 90-degree angle, I smacked my cigarette into my mouth, and I turned as hard in the opposite direction as I could. Mind you, I'm sliding sideways down the road, and sure as Doc said, you turn right hard enough, you'll find yourself going left. So now I'm facing 90 degrees in the opposite direction. And, there's a tow truck not far behind me, witnessing this whole thing go down. And eventually I straighten it out, and I drift into the turnaround spot, and I say, let's go get some McDonald's. So we start leaving to get some McDonald's. Surprisingly, that's not what I get pulled over for. I get pulled over in the in the McDonald's parking lot. And the first thing they do is check if I'm impaired. And eventually, throughout this conversation, an officer says, why don't you go ahead and step out of the vehicle for us? And I think, oh man, I'm getting arrested. So I step out of the vehicle. He walks me over to the squad car. I think it's so over. I think it's over. But it's not. I am fortunate enough that he just says, well, I wanted to make sure you weren't standing out in the cold for this. I can't find your license in the state you live in. Is there any other state that it might be in? So I inform him of my home state and exactly where I'm from and how all this works. And I gotta say, that was an overall pleasant experience. That makes me a little nervous to drive in the cold these days. I don't want to get pulled over again, especially not in the McDonald's parking lot. Alright, so we're gonna start setting up some electric miners. Largely because I'm tired of this whole mess of coal. I'm tired of it, Grandpa. And I also want to be able to extract more iron than I currently am. And maybe, just maybe, run my everything just a little better. Let's see. We got the repair pack researched, which is phenomenal news for us. But I also think that maybe I should run another assembler. And what all do I need to make electric miners? Iron plates, iron gear wheels, and electronic circuits. Alright, well, on the bright side, we have iron gear wheels and electronic circuits being made. But we're not doing so hot in the, kinda wondering what I can do to make this run better. I'm thinking. So here's where our electronic circuits are coming out, which is good. But I also wonder, just not sure at this current moment how I'm gonna make this work. But we did get this nice assembly plant going on. And that's something. It's pretty quality, if I do say so myself. Pretty top notch. And it did recommend that I speed things up a little. Actually, I can go grab the electronic circuits. Yeah, that's plenty. We're producing plenty. Let's make ourselves a couple of labs, not too many, and some mining drills. Just as many electric mining drills as we can. Electric is the way of the future, and I have a very stable power grid here. I think maybe we'll get more copper plate production here soon. But we need higher copper plate consumption first. I mean, look at this. It's a disaster. I'm gonna want to start exploring for more materials. But that just makes me a smidge nervous all on its own. I'm not sure what's out there, and it's been a while since the bugs attacked. I definitely need more defenses. I definitely need higher ammo production. And maybe a way to feed ammo directly into the gun turrets. It's all on the to-do list, and I'll make a much more cohesive to-do list when I have a chance. But I think we are going to leave this episode right here. So thank you for tuning in to FACTORIOTRON, and I will see you next time. Take it easy, but take it, and best of luck. Off you go.